Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Mr. Zombie here. Now, before we get into today's video, there's something I'd like to say. I'd like to let you all know that we got a merch store. Some of the items in here are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if this video hits 500 likes by the end of the week, we will continue this what if. Thirdly, if you didn't know, only 41.3% of you guys have subscribed to us. So please, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the story. Kai Chisaki eyed the 4 members of the League he'd personally requested with a contemplative gleam in his eye. In no particular order, Mustard, Toga, Twice, and Deku ran through his minds. Each of them had something he wanted, be it their quirks, or in case of izuku, a tool for manipulating his enemies. As things stood, his organization had not only the potential to usurp all the other criminal empires, but the means to do so. All Kai needed was time, and those before him would grant him the power he needed to buy such time.
Before we get started, I want you to tell me your quirks. You first.
The youthful crime lord ordered as he pointed towards Mustard.
Mine is called gas. I can generate a poisonous sleep-inducing gas from my body. Anyone who inhales the gas directly will immediately fall asleep and remain that way until the toxin is treated. Mustard slammed a hand over his mouth, but it was far too late. Before he could ask what happened, he asked the same question to the others. Toga and Twice were forced to do the same. The culprit behind it all was one of Chisaki's men. When they got to their newest member, he turned his attention to Toga. "Do I tell him my quirk, Toga-chan?"
Deku said it in a soft, childlike voice. The experiment was maturing rapidly and was nearing the point of mental balance. Soon, he'd be just as capable as Kurogiri.
No,
Toga said indefinitely, sticking her tongue out at Chisaki. The aforementioned crime boss grew more curious about Izuku and aimed his attention at Toga.
Why is he obedient to you?
Toga cursed, biting her tongue before she was forced to answer.
Since he was reborn, he bonded with my friend. That friend gave me control of him because I took good care of him.
This was interesting.
Okay, guess that explains the arm then. Must be nice having such an obedient slave.
Overhaul commented with envy.
He's not our slave. He's one of us.
Toga growled, showing off her enlarged canines.
Sure he is. Well, I still need to know what his quirk is so I can give him a job.
Overhaul said matter-of-factly.
He won't be going anywhere without me.
Toga said, standing her ground.
Whoa, hey, it's okay, Toga-chan. I made a promise, remember?
Toga stood down, but didn't lose her scowl.
If you hurt him, I'll hunt you down and bleed you dry.
Toga promised. Kai, however, ignored her warning. He didn't think of her as much of a threat.
I'm a pursuit and capture model. My vision has been enhanced, and my arm can turn into tentacles and harden,
he said with a smile. Toga internally beamed with pride. Unlike them, he was able to do the impossible and lie right to Chisaki's face.
Well, you might be more useful than I expected. Tell me, how are you with kids?
Well, part of my program, it does include early child care for some reason, so I suppose I can be sufficient enough.
Good. I have someone special to introduce you to.
When he said this, one of his goons came barging through the door. She escaped! Overhaul jumped to his feet, motioning for Deku to follow. The two ran off, one with more questions than the other. In the weeks that had passed since he last saw him, Uraraka's anger had grown. The most painful part of it all was that he'd reached out to her. She'd felt it and seen it. He chose her, but he wasn't where he was supposed to be. He wasn't with her. So she found herself training for hours, over and over again, going over various martial arts moves. She got to Gran Torino and demanded he take her in as an intern. At first, the man said no, but she wouldn't let him say no. Her words to him had been cruel and spiteful, but ultimately she'd guilt-tripped him into saying yes. Since then, she'd been virtually glued to the man's side when she wasn't in school, using him for all the knowledge he was worth. Her reason for being around Torino was the belief that if she wanted another chance at getting close to Deku, it'd be by sticking close to Torino. Girl, you need to pace yourself. You've been at it for 6 hours straight. You're only hurting yourself. Don't tell me what to do! Uraraka snapped with anger clear in her face. You don't know how I feel! He's out there doing who knows what and he needs to be saved! I won't stop until I get him the help he needs. Torino shook his head and sighed. I know your pain all too well, kid. I was friends with his grandmother. We came up as heroes together. She was my best friend. I loved her deeply, and the same man who took her life stole your boyfriend and turned her into a monster. So yes, I know your pain. We're doing all we can to get him back. Believe me. Uraraka's blood ran cold. This added information gave greater context to Deku's abduction. He was targeted. They did because they wanted to hurt you. Did they? Nana hid her children because she knew if they ever were found, All for One would target him. That bastard found him anyway. The child with the decay quirk is your friend's cousin. He and his family went missing years ago. I knew something terrible had happened to him. Now I know. Being a hero means sacrifice, and sometimes that sacrifice means everything you love. I just pray you never have to learn that lesson. Now, come on, child. Let's get some food in you. Uraraka lowered her head as tears flowed down her face and followed behind the old man. Before we get back into the story, I would like to say that we got a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes over the hard facts of the anime presented. Now, in case you guys didn't know, we also have a third channel called We the Celestial Naruto What If. We the Celestial Naruto What If mainly focuses on our Naruto What If series, so if you're interested in content like this, please go check out the description below, or click the eye icon at the top right corner. Now with that out of the way, let's get back into the story. Erie ran as far as her tiny feet would grant her. She managed to escape when her babysitter was too distracted with the cell phone. As she continued her escape, she saw the literal light at the end of the tunnel. As she neared closer, she saw someone dressed funny in her haste bump into him. Before she hit the ground, there was someone there to catch her. Oh, sorry about that. You okay? The one she bumped into had a bright smile on his face, blonde hair, and had 1 million on his chest.
She looks okay. Nothing broken or out of place.
A voice the girl had never heard said happily.
Though I suppose I should ask her how she feels.
Starfish smiled softly at her.
Are you okay?
When he asked the question, two things happened. The first being that the blonde's heart dropped at the sight of the newcomer, and the second was the arrival of Overhaul.
Erie, there you are. Causing more problems, I see.
Erie froze before entrenching herself in Deku's arms. He frowned, feeling the girl's fear. Mirio's fist clenched.
Come on, it's time for you to come home.
Kill him!
A voice ordered from within Deku's head. It was the arm, the real Nomu, Starfish. It had been guiding him, accelerating his mental fortitude. When he was able to understand, the nightmares began. The faces of people he never met screaming as a man with a fat face did the unspeakable to him.
Monster! Kill the monster! Promise! Now!
The voice pleaded, but was repressed. There was a plan in place. Deku would do as he was told and wait.
Let's go.
Starfish said with a strange smile.
Sorry if we inconvened you, Mr. Hero, but I have to get my daughter home. Come along, both of you.
Mirio watched them disappear into the darkness of the alleyway, unmoving. When his shock left him, Mirio ran off to report to his master. Locked away in his lab, a madman smiled. He had no intention of letting the outside world know of his freedom, only those he found interesting. Of the many that wanted him dead or gone, one managed to find him before his world was completely shattered. A man who wanted power. After narrowly avoiding capture by having a clone in place to take the fall for him, he was robbed of most of his resources. If he hadn't have cloned twice his quirk, it would have been all over. He only had enough resources for perhaps one last masterpiece, and the proxy of said creation was currently waking up. Hello, Nine. It pleases me to see you awake. Dr. Ujiko said with a smile. I have an offer to make to you, if you're willing to hear me out. The white-haired man left the tank with a groan.
Depends on what it is. I mean, I already have all the power I need to make this world my own.
The doctor smiled with a twisted grin. How about I help you get out of that suit? the doctor offered, feeding the man's need for power.
Talk.
I could give you a freebie, a regeneration quirk I have loaded into one of my children. All I ask for in exchange is that once you have enough power, you take care of someone for me.
Why do you need me to do it? Don't you have an army of those things?
The man said, referring to the doctor's children. I used to, but in the time you were sleeping, my friends turned against me. I took something from All Might, and now he won't leave me alone.
Let me guess. You want me to kill All Might for you?
No, a young man by the name of Mirio Togata. I know you're a man of your word, so as long as you promise you'll do it, I'll give you the regeneration quirk you need.
Very well. But just so you know, when I'm done, I'll be taking your life as well.
The doctor ushered one of his children over. I wouldn't have it any other way, Nine. Deku stood silently and still as he watched Kai kill his daughter over and over again. When she finally had enough and lost consciousness, he was ordered to take her to her room. He laid her down in the bed. Once she was secured, he let out a high-pitched whistle that fried any surveillance equipment in the room. He took out a cell phone and called Toga, as Dobby was busy with his own mission.
When?
He whispered into his phone.
Slow down! 2 days!
I can't wait that long!
He whispered back that almost sounded like a roar. Toga smiled on her end.
It'll be okay. He won't be around much longer. We'll talk tomorrow.
She promised as she hung up the phone.
I don't care if he hurts you again. I'll kill him before he can touch you again.
A small hand took his.
Promise?
Erie asked in a timid voice.
Huh? Were you awake the entire time?
He asked softly. She gave a hesitant nod. Izuku looked directly into her eyes.
My name's Starfish. Can you keep a secret?
She nodded.
My friends are here to make Overhaul go away forever.
He said in a hushed whisper. Erie was shocked but listened to his every word.
And when he's gone, you can come with us. We're nice people.
He told her, believing his own words.
I know. You cry like I do when I'm really sad. They don't come out. Not ever. We keep them inside.
Deku paused, sucking in a breath as the face of a green-haired woman flashed in his mind. A tear escaped him that was quick to wipe away.
Erie, would you like to hear a song?
She tilted her head to the side before saying yes. He activated the quirk Siren and used it to sing her lullaby that would come from his repressed memory. He had sung so softly that it lulled her into a peaceful unconsciousness. Still clutching into his arm, Starfish hardened his resolve to keep his promise of killing Kai for his father, friends, and his little girl. Elsewhere, another man knelt over a bleeding goon in a beak mask. I hear your boss hired some new muscle. Tell me where I can find him. The man underneath him pled for the man to ask for anything else, but the manic eyes of a hero killer would have none of it. It would take some time, but the man would have his questions answered. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Now there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. On behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer and editors for this video. Their details will be in the description. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in being one of those, go into the Discord that's in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for more members to join us. That's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, have a fantastic day.